opportunity to connect through a breakout session to share your why in preparation for meeting with employers during the upcoming career fair. To get us started, I will take a few moments to go over our agenda and meeting norms. Next slide, please. Oh, it's there already. Thank you, Jennifer.
Question.
Yes, hi.
In the picture, do you know who the African-American man is sitting at the very head of the table in the middle?
Give me 1 second. Let's see here. That's Harold Washington, Mayor Harold Washington.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, he was a student there at back years ago.
Yeah, yes. And so many more wonderful pioneers that attended Roosevelt University. Thanks for pointing that out. So our agenda for this evening. So welcome and introductions. We will then pivot into a discussion around making meaningful connections at a virtual career fair, followed by a breakout session. What is your why statement? And concluding with group reflection and a wrap up. Next slide, please. Meeting norms. I asked if you would please mute yourself to eliminate background noise. Also, if you have questions, please share in the chat. If there's time, we will read a few questions. If not, I will stay on following this session to answer any questions that you have. And I'd just like to add one more. We've all been working mostly in a virtual space for some time now. I would ask for technology grace. So if you are kicked out for any reason, please just join us. We'll be here waiting for you. So thank you. All right. Next slide, please, slide 4. Please use the chat to introduce yourself, name, major, and where you are in your career path, new grad, career changer, or other. Finally, each of you on the call this evening will be entered into a drawing for the chance to win an Uber Eats gift card. Winners will be announced at the conclusion of this section. Yay, excited for that. Next slide, please. Now, are you all ready for some tips? I encourage you to grab a pen and paper for note taking or to jot down any questions that you may have. Again, I will stay on following the session to answer any questions that you have. Next slide, please. As mentioned, the COVID-19 pandemic has forced the world to adjust to a new normal. This new normal has played an instrumental role in the employment landscape, including the recruitment process for many organizations. Many have taken a global perspective with identifying candidates, are taking a more holistic approach in the selection process, seek candidates whose personal and professional mission and values align with the organization, and also seek candidates with core competencies and transferable skills. The pandemic also saw a shift in how companies identify and engage with prospective candidates. For many, virtual career fairs is one of the most effective and safest ways for employers to connect with candidates. Next slide, please. Virtual career fairs are very similar to traditional fairs. The major difference is that all activities associated with the employers will occur on an online platform. Roosevelt University uses the Handshake platform, and that is the platform that you will utilize for the career fair. Preparation is the key to making meaningful connections at a virtual career fair. Some things to consider: research, learn about the organizations who are attending the fair, familiarize yourself with the company, mission, values, read employer reviews. Glassdoor is a great site to find reviews. Indeed.com also is a great place to find reviews, potential organizations and companies that you may be interested in working for or want to learn more about. Visit their social media pages and also learn about the recruiters representing the company. You'd be very surprised at how many Roosevelt alumni come back to recruit alumni students and alumni for available roles. I'm one of those. I'm really excited to work with you all. Also in the preparation process, you want to cast a wide net. Simply put, keep an open mind when selecting companies with whom you would like to work. In addition to your dream list of employers, consider sectors unrelated to your background or academic experience. Can you contribute your skills in another sector? Know what your transferable skills are. These skills are just as important as core skills. Imagine how your skills can be useful in a variety of sectors, particularly as we are 1 year into this global pandemic. And while things are improving, we do understand and recognize that some sectors won't come back. And the many, many talented individuals who are seeking opportunities, there will be other opportunities available for them. Keep an open mind, look in every direction for employment. Your skill set is your skill set. In most cases, your skills can transfer from sector to sector. Next slide, please. You want to prepare a plan for connecting with companies at the career fair. Representatives attending the fair will most likely meet with prospective candidates during one-on-one 10-minute sessions. Host an employer spotlight networking session, or depending on the size of the organization, they may do both, okay? During the one-on-one session, prospective candidates can learn about available opportunities, market their skills, and learn about hiring criteria as well as follow-up next steps. During the employer spotlight networking session, prospective candidates will learn about the company, industry, and trends. Usually these sessions are not designed for one-on-one interactions. Occasionally, a recruiter may ask you to stay over or to come back to have additional conversation. But in most cases, it really is an informational session to learn a little bit more about the organization and the company. So this session is really great for those who are seeking to network or who are exploring their options. Next slide, please. Your digital footprint plays a powerful role in getting noticed by employers. According to a 2017 Career Builder survey, 70% of employers use social media to screen candidates. I will let you know that our organization does take a look at social media pages, LinkedIn pages, Facebook pages, TikTok, see what kind of dances you're doing on TikTok, that sort of thing. And really, it is just a matter for us to get to know you a little bit better, okay? You wanna make sure that you update your Handshake account. You want to ensure that you are, I'm gonna repeat that, updating your Handshake account. In most cases, when an employer is seeking to connect with you, the first place they're going to go to pull a resume is your Handshake account. If they don't see ahead of time, have your name ahead of time. I know that I use, and many of my colleagues in the industry, that is our go-to place in terms of being able to connect with you and getting more information about your qualifications. Scrub and update your social media pages. I'm familiar with RU's Career Services team, and I know that this is probably something that you've heard a zillion times already, or you have heard in other capacities. It is so very important that your media pages, social media, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and some of the others, that it's a positive representation of who you are. Also, it's also indicative of those who you're connected with and kind of what their background is as well. So not only will we be looking at your pictures and things of this nature, we'll also be looking at those that you connect with as well. So if you have, individuals, they like to party, put all of that on social media and make sure that they're not tagging you on it, okay? You also may consider setting up a personal website or digital portfolio. This is a great tool for candidates across sectors. So it's not just for creatives, it's not just for those that are in liberal arts. In any sector, you can create a personal brand page. My personal preference is Wix.com, but there are so many others as well. I just think that Wix is very user-friendly and the turnaround time is really great. So it's a great source for those interested in building a personal brand site, and employers will be looking for that as well. Also, during the one-on-one sessions with the company representative, you may have the opportunity to market your skills. Things to include. Next slide, please. Be prepared to show your alignment to the mission and values of the organization. That's key and crucial. Be prepared to share how your core competencies and transferable skills has prepared you to make an immediate contribution to the organization and the team. Core competencies, or also known as your core qualifications, is defined by Indeed.com, is a list of your qualifications for a job. A core competencies section includes your skills, certification, knowledge of different software products, or personality traits that make you a desirable candidate. I have included a list of competencies that my organization uses as part of the candidate assessment process. Many of these are also valued by other organizations. While I won't get through all of these competencies, I will highlight some. I encourage you to also share in the chat box other competencies that you feel are important for candidates to have. Accountability and integrity. Does a candidate actively seek and accept feedback? Does the candidate hold himself accountable for delivering on commitments? And just to go back just a bit, in terms of assessing the core competencies, and in most cases, there are a series of questions that you will be asked, or a project that you'll be asked to participate in that will highlight some of these desired competencies. Okay, and again, with the accountability and integrity, actively seeks and accepts feedback, holds self accountable for delivering on commitments. Self-awareness. Does the candidate self-awareness. Does the candidate knows personal strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and limits? Does the candidate gain insight from mistakes? Is the candidate open to criticism and isn't defensive? Next slide, please. Change and resilience, or commonly grit. Can the candidate decide and act without having the total picture? Can the candidate effectively cope or copes with change? Particularly in the COVID environment, in the post-COVID environment, every day that there you may find something changes. I know in my organization on a daily basis, things change, and we have to adapt and be flexible as we understand that people are doing the best job that they can possibly do. So being able to be open-minded and flexible and able to cope with change, even if you don't have the complete picture in that moment, to be able to still be able to be effective in your work and still able to make impact. Race, equity, and difference. Does a candidate confronts individual bias and racism? They recognize their own biases. Does the candidate work effectively in a workforce that is diverse in ideas, culture, ethnicity, gender, age, etc.? Does the candidate have, and then we're gonna go growth mindset and coachability. Again, this is grit again. Views growth as important for personal and professional development. This is such an important and crucial competency across sectors. One of the, I know for our organization, we value individuals who want to grow. We value individuals who are interested in additional professional development, who have ideas in terms of what their next step should look like or their career trajectory should look like, and trust us to help them succeed in that way. Okay, accepts feedbacks and showed implementation of feedback. Particularly in the education sector, very often you will receive immediate feedback, immediate coaching, and a candidate, that displays the ability to accept feedback. And, sometimes it may not be what you want to hear, but need to hear in order to be effective in your practice. And then be able to take the feedback, synthesize it, and be able to implement it. Okay. Next steps. I'm sorry, next slides. Okay, Lakers, as you prepare to wow employers during the fair, how do you market yourself? Remember, in most cases, you will only have 10 minutes to meet with the employer at the career fair. And this is also true if you're meeting just for a networking event or an informational session, unless you've planned a little bit more time. So having a personal elevator pitch is a perfect way for you to convey your skill set and other information to employers or others. What is a personal elevator pitch introduction? Indeed.com define a personal elevator pitch as a quick summary of yourself. It's named for the amount of time it should take to deliver it. The duration, a short elevator ride, roughly 30 to 60, maybe, 60 seconds or 75 words. Elevator pitches are sometimes thought to be specific to an idea or product, but you can also use it to sell yourself. And I like to use the word market, to market yourself as a professional. Why are they important? Well, a good elevator pitch is important because it's an effective way to demonstrate your professional aptitude, strengths, and skills. An elevator pitch is also useful in multiple situations, would make it especially valuable if possible. You should always have some talking points about yourself prepared, so you're ready to take advantage of unexpected opportunities. I am really, really good for getting in an elevator at RU and talking with the students and just getting to know them a bit better. And I'm always impressed when they're able to tell me about themselves, in less than 60 seconds. And I'm like, wow, your career services team is really doing a great job. So keep up the work. Good job, guys. And if you don't have an elevator pitch, that's perfectly fine. We will work with you to ensure that you are ready for the career fair to have that. But so you want to make sure that, again, you're taking advantage of unexpected opportunities. But an elevator pitch is particularly helpful during the job search. Next slide, please. Technology glitch. As noted earlier, many employers are reimagining the recruitment process. Many employers are seeking candidates who not only display core and transferable skill set, they're looking for candidates who understand and can name their why. More specifically, who are you? What are you passionate about? What do you stand for? What drives you? How do you show up in the workplace? Benefits of understanding your why. It motivates you. Knowing why you do the work positions you to keep going even on hard days. Remember that your work has purpose. Lean into it. And to be completely transparent in the education sector and the education field, we have hard days. We have really, really hard days, as we have a number of key stakeholders, that we support, and in many ways we're responsible for. So we can have hard days, and I'm comfortable saying for my colleagues and myself, what keeps us going is our why. Why are we doing the work? Why do we choose the work that we're doing? And how do we continue to build upon our work, continue to build upon our practice, continue to be innovative, and ensure that we are providing the best supports that we can for our students, for their parents, and the communities. Some days we have to take a step back and think, why did I choose to do this? And that's perfectly fine, and it's fair. Okay. We're gonna go to the next slide, please. Okay. All right, on time. So earlier this week, in preparation for this session, you may have received communication asking that you think about your why and how this might play an instrumental role in your career trajectory. If you didn't receive the communication, no worries. The info will be dropped into the chat as we prepare to move into our breakout session in our rooms. There you will have 15 minutes to discuss with the group your why. We will then come back together as a group to share out and think about our reflection question. The reflection question is, do you feel comfortable naming and incorporating your why, into your introduction? Why or why not? Okay, we're ready for our breakout rooms. A few moments.
Hope.
Yeah.
What do you think about making this last minute change and just doing it as this group together?
Absolutely, absolutely. We certainly can do that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's think about our reflection questions here. Get full screen here. All right. What is your why statement of purpose? This is in questions to consider. How might this contribute to an organization? How might you incorporate your why into your introduction when meeting with a potential employer or others? Do your why and core competencies align with the organization that you seek to join? I invite you to come off mute and share out.
Hope you're accidentally on mute.
Sorry about that, guys. I'll repeat that. So I invite you to come off mute, like I just did, come off mute and share your thoughts on the breakout session, the breakout session questions, or drop your responses into the chat if you don't feel comfortable coming off mute, and we'll look at those questions there.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So we're going to give you a few minutes to think about the questions. And please feel free to share if you feel comfortable. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing out in a larger group, please feel free to drop down your answers in the chat box. And we're going to give you about 7 minutes to think about these questions, and we'll come back together. So Jennifer, not to put you on the spot, what about your why? Why do you do the work that you do?
Okay, to put me on the spot, I do the work that I do because I'm very passionate about helping students with obtaining their academic and their career goals.
Awesome. All right. Okay, so a why statement or your why, it basically is an understanding that you have in terms of the things that you're passionate about, the things that drive you to be a contributor, that drives you to do specific types of work, to work with specific types of people, to work in a specific type of environment. And generally that comes from a place of reflection. I've known since the age of 7 or 8 that I had an intense desire to help others. I had no idea what that looked like at the age of 8, but I found myself as I was growing up and participating in school events and my first job and my second job, and even the high school that I selected to attend. And definitely attending Roosevelt University was an intentional choice because I also felt very strongly about social justice. And having grown up on the South Side of Chicago, understanding at a very young age inequity, and understanding that I and others have the ability to change the world one step at a time. And so my entire career trajectory, and I felt that could be done through education. Not only my own education, but also providing a platform for others to be able to be successful in their career paths, and contributing and making opportunities for students to be able to move from one space to another, to move from high school to college, to move from college to their first careers, and also being very passionate about of ensuring and being a support system to them. So that's a little bit about the why statement. This why statement is important for employers because particularly in today's climate and environment, where everyone understands that collectively, we have the power to change, again, the world. And we're able to do that, by being contributors, by being intentional in the work that we do, from being the person that designs, data, for the person that is creative. Okay. Katie, thank you. Is it okay for me to read out your why? You can come off mute and say yes for now.
Yes, go ahead.
Katie shared with the group, I find being a part of a company fascinating and find the law interesting. To use both to create a strong company to provide jobs is something I found value in. And that is your why. So Katie, you will take this information, your why, and also your elevator, your introduction, your elevator speech, and combine the two thoughts together for one, okay? So you can talk about your skill set, but you also want to talk about the passion behind, or the why behind why you want to do the work and engage in the work that you want to do. That makes a very powerful statement. It speaks to commitment level. It also speaks to reflection. And it also speaks to your desire to grow as a professional. Anyone else like to share out? Okay. All right. So we're going to go to our group reflection question. And again, if you do not feel comfortable sharing, you can share out of the chat. And then we're just going to leave a little bit more time for individual questions that you may have. Okay. Our group reflection question. Do you feel comfortable naming and incorporating it in naming your why and incorporating it into your introduction? Why or why not? And you can drop down in the chat. Okay. So I have worked with individuals who are still in the process of understanding, being able to feel comfortable with naming their why. Generally, it happens with individuals who I call them serial career changers. They're still trying to find their path, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes it takes individuals a little bit more time, and that's okay. Our goal, and my goal in working with individuals, is let's tap into you. I want to get to know you. Let's put aside the opportunity. Let's talk about you. What drives you? Again, what are you passionate about? What are some of your hobbies? What do you do when you're not at work? Who do you hang out with? What I always call it noise. What kind of noise do you create? And what I mean by that, I'm an advocate. So I am on everyone's picket line. You can see me there. I am on everyone's, you will see me out there with my banner. And that's my noise. I make noise when there is evidence of injustice. I make noise when I feel that there are things that we can do better to support humanity at large. And so those are the type of things that drives your why statement. What drives you as a person? And some individuals will say, I really just kind of like to chill out and relax. So let's talk about some occupations where, that are a little bit more relaxed, or where you can contribute that. And then also for some, over time, this is built up as they are growing and practice and getting to know themselves as professionals, as they are working with different groups, as they are, again, building on skill set. So the why may not be as apparent. And if it's not, I certainly I would encourage you to stop by the Career Services office and talk a little bit about your path. Okay, thank you, Katie. Do you mind if I share out your response?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So Katie contributed to the group. I would prefer, as a conclusion, the front end for me would be selling myself on the technical points, but ending with something personal. The why is a good ending. Absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else? All right. Well, we have a little extra time and I am certainly open to answering any questions that you may have. It can be career fair, virtual career fair related, or any other questions. And if you'd like, you can come off mute and ask the question to the group. If not, drop it into the chat.
Hope, quick question.
Sure.
So can you tell us a little bit more about length in terms of like combining our why statement and our purpose? Like how long is too long? When does an employer like, okay, that's enough. We've heard enough
Absolutely.
of your elevator pitch.
It definitely is a balance. I would say that elevator pitches are still very, very relevant. They're still important to have that. I think that employers are, particularly in today's climate, are more inclined to hear about your skill set, but want to know why. You know, why their organization, what resonates with you. And that's something that can be very simple as, you know, I'm an educator, I am a curriculum developer, I have in-classroom experience, I have experience working with parents, I have experience working in urban communities, and I have a very, very strong social justice and advocate background. And I feel that this will make me a great candidate for continued discussions about your available roles. It doesn't have to be an endpoint. It can be something as simple as, I would love to speak with you further about my skill set and my why, and why I feel that I will be great as an immediate addition to your team. Or here's my skill set, here's my why. Is there an opportunity for me to connect with you a bit later? It's an opportunity also for you to be able to suggest your next step with an employer. Any other questions? So by a show of hands, how many of you have already registered for the career fair? Put my hand up. Okay. If you've not registered for the career fair, I strongly encourage you to do so. This is a wonderful opportunity to connect with employers. Employers are in the state of, again, reimagining not only their hiring processes, but also roles they have available in their organizations. Many organizations, you know, are open in terms of your capabilities, in terms of what you may bring to the table, and helping you find a good fit in their organization where possible. And so I would encourage you to sign up. Again, most employers will have sessions, one-on-one sessions that you can sign up for. Please take a look at all the employers that will be attending the fair, do your research, plan out your time for the date for the career fair. Also leaving a little bit of time, you know, to do some reflection as you're meeting with employers. The great thing about meeting with a number of employers, one is you get the perspective that you get, also the knowledge that you gain in terms of who the organizations are, the type of candidate they're seeking, and it also helps you to kind of go internally and figure out if these are organizations are a good fit for you. There have been many times when a candidate is super, super excited to meet with an organization and have a little bit of time to spend with the recruiter or spend with the representative and learn a little bit more about the organization. Think, yeah, that's a little different than my why. My why doesn't align with this. And in most cases, I know for me, if a candidate isn't a good fit for my organization, because I've met this candidate, I've heard their elevator pitch, I've heard their why, they're an RU student or alumni, I'm more than happy to help them connect with other employers who may be a better fit for them. So you definitely want to see the career fair as a networking opportunity as well, not only an opportunity to connect with employers, but also other individuals that are attending the fair. I recall being at a fair and there were candidates that were waiting in line to meet with me, and they were having really great discussions. And the one candidate was seeking something very specific. And the other candidate is like, you know what? My cousin's friend's cousin, it always happens that way sometimes, is looking for someone. So there's a perfect opportunity for you to build out your network, not only with potential employers or representatives of organization, but other individuals who are seeking or attending the career fairs as well. Also, so the employers will have one-on-one sessions in most cases, but depending on the organization, they may also have informational sessions as well. So if you're still trying to decide, or you haven't quite decided your path, or don't know the necessary steps, and generally, if you work with career services, they'll be able to work with you and support you in figuring out your trajectory. It's a great opportunity to build on knowledge, industry knowledge, so that you are able to make a more informed decision in terms of your career path.
And I just want to say right now we have about 49 employers registered for the fair, and we're giving them until tomorrow to finalize the registration, because we want to make sure they get their calendar set up to allow time for you all to get onto scheduling either the group sessions or one-on-one sessions with the employer. So if you haven't looked recently, make sure you log on to see who else has registered for the fair since you last looked on Handshake.
Thanks, Jennifer. And also, again, I just want to reiterate, you may have your dream employer list or that list of dream employers. I strongly encourage you to add additional employers who may be outside, of your academic background, or maybe outside, even in some cases outside of your core experience, because we also look at transferable skills as well. Your core competencies and your transferable skills all make you a well-rounded candidate. So you may feel, I don't feel that I'm qualified, or that's a tech company and I'm interested in, I'm interested in building out brochures. Well, tech companies need someone to build brochures as well. In our organization, we look at cross-sectional skill set, because we need individuals from all sectors, and we understand the value of transferable skills, and most employers do as well. Unless it is a specialized niche, 99% of the time, a transferable skill will work to your benefit. And if you don't know what those are, again, visit your career services center, make an appointment, and they'll be able to help you pull out and kind of define what those are, and looking at your experience. Also, and I'm sure that you've heard this as well, experience does not only include paid experience. Your experience as a student, your experience as leaders on your campuses or in your communities, look at those transferable skills as well. And if you're an individual and you don't quite know where you want to be, again, it's a good opportunity to go to informational sessions and meet with employers, and hear and hear what they have to say about their organizations. As you are looking for organizations and what you can offer to organizations, you also want to know what they may be able to offer you as well. Yes. Yes. Yes, Ursula. And when we talked about our core competencies earlier, we did talk about a growth mindset. And in most organizations, when hiring someone, I know for our organization, one of our core questions, it's not the question of what do you want to do in 5 years, the question, or 10 years, the question is, how would you like to grow as a professional? Or how would you like to grow as an individual in the next, or core skills? That helps us. Everyone that comes into our organization, they do come in on under a growth plan. And that's based on conversations that we've had during the interview process, the onboarding process, and generally in check-in sessions. It's very important that we are supporting the individuals who support the work that we do and support our communities. We want to make sure that they're taken care of as well. And many, many, many employers feel that way as well.
It's about time to wrap things up. Does anyone have any additional questions for Hope?
I will be at the fair.
Woohoo.
I will be there. I am a very, very strong supporter of Roosevelt University. And when they call, I will be there. And if there's any way that I am able to support you, please call on me to be able to do so. We can move to the next slide, or end slide. All right. So as a thank you for attending today's session, I invite you to set up a 15-minute one-on-one meeting with me to discuss any follow-up questions that you may have. Today you may not have any, but you may think of some tomorrow or the day after, to discuss any follow-up questions that you may have while preparing for the career fair. You can request a meeting, and I have my email address listed there, and the career services team will have it. You can reach out to me in any capacity. So it doesn't necessarily have to be for the career fair, but if there is any way that I can help you, I'm more than happy to do so. I will be representing the Academy for Urban School Leadership at the career fair. So please stop by my booth and say hello. I'd love to get to know you better. Do we have our 3 winners?
Christy, do you have the winners?
Well, how many cards do we have to give out?
We're going to give out 3 tonight.
And I think we have 3 students and alums still here with us. So should we
I'd say
be our default winners?
yes.
For joining
yes.
us?
So ensure that I have their names, and we'll be sure to get that out to the names, email addresses, and we'll be sure to get that out to them early next week.
Katie, do you mind messaging? You could do it privately to Jennifer, your last name, so she can reach out to you.
And for housekeeping notes, I just want to mention that on April 1st, we're having a session with an employer at 4 p.m. to talk about just practical tips on getting ready for a virtual career fair. And then also have a component where we're walking platform so that you know what to expect the day of the fair. And then on April 6th, we're having a career development drop-in hour. And that'll be from noon to 1. And so if you have just a quick question, or you want us to look at your resume real quickly and give you some feedback, please feel free to drop in during that drop-in hour, and we'd be happy to do so. And thank you, Katie. I got your name and your, so thank you. We'll be sure to send you your gift card.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you all have any questions at all, please feel free to connect with me. I'll see you at the career fair. if you want any additional information about anything that I've shared out today, I'm more than happy to get that to you as well. Thank you guys for the opportunity. I am so excited to see you at the career fair. Make sure that you go.
Thank you so much, Hope. We really appreciate it. This was a great session.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
You too.
I'm actually going to stay on for a few minutes. So.
Okay. And I'm going to stop recording. Maybe if I can find it. Stop share, stop recording.